Good morning, everybody. Daniel Allison, the average dude, and it's just me. It's just me this morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to First Sip, the place that you come to do this right here. You come here, you drink a cup of coffee, you talk to your friends, and they show up. You just start talking, and then boom, like magic, friends will appear. Freddie, good morning.
Do you believe in magic?
I do. And Freddie Blanton is the one to teach me that miracles do in fact happen. Miracles happen. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do it by myself. And then, bam, there he is.
Well, speaking of miracles happen, I got up this morning and believe it or not, I have woke up tall, dark, and handsome one more day. So I got to take advantage of it.
Tall, dark, and handsome, and you got a cup of coffee, and I'm ready to take a first sip. Let's do it.
Let's go. Oh, that tastes so good.
Ooh, it's Friday. I saw you in the gym this morning. You were at the YMCA on Pine Street here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And you walked in, y'all were going to play some racquetball. I've got to ask, who won the racquetball this morning?
I won one game today. Taylor Brown, Mab, F3 legend, beat me 3 times.
Woo, baby! Hey, now this is the ebb and flow. I always ask who wins y'all's matches. And now the week before, didn't you pretty much crush him?
Yeah, and I knew he'd come back strong. Man, I took his soul a couple weeks ago, and he's been thinking about it ever since.
Oh, my gosh. I walked back there, y'all, after Freddie had just put the thrashing on him and blanked him, and that was pretty funny. That's always fun, the competition between friends. How long have y'all been playing racquetball?
It's probably been a little over a year. Yeah, and I'm glad he got me into it because I do still like to compete.
Yeah.
You really get a good workout running around in that little box.
Oh, yeah. I've watched y'all.
Who don't want to hit a ball hard whenever you can?
Yeah, it does. And I've played racquetball. It's been many, many years ago, but it is a fun sport. It's a different sport. It's a lot of action. And like you say, it reminds me of me and my brother. We'd get that little rubber ball when we were younger and, just kind of chase that sucker around the house. Bam, 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 bam,
And if anybody is watching this, I want to look you in the face. If you're like, hey, man, racquetball's old. Everybody plays pickleball. Name the place and time, and I'll bring my pickleball racket.
Ooh, you have been challenged. Russ Hammond, good morning. And you have been challenged. Russ, if you play pickleball, I've never played pickleball, but I want to play pickleball. So, if anybody out there plays pickleball and wants to play with the average dude, let's get out there and play. So what we want to talk about this morning is personal development. I've been on a personal development journey now, Freddie, for 10 years. For 10 years, since 11/11, November the 11th, 2014. 10 years of personal development.
I just wrote down 11/11 when you started talking.
There you go, baby. There you go. 11/11. And I tell you, it's funny. I know that 11/11 has numerical significance for some people. There's meaning for that somehow. I had no idea. It just so happened that I started on November 11th.
And of course, stop right there. What happened on 11/10 for you to say 11/11 is the day I start?
The strangest story ever. A lady on LinkedIn that was a personal coach, a life coach. I had never even, I didn't do anything on LinkedIn. I didn't know how she got my name. I didn't know why she wanted to talk to me, but she reached out to me and wanted to talk to me. Of course, essentially, I was thinking she wants to sell me her services, right? I didn't really want to take the call, nor did I want to change, Freddie. I didn't really want to change, or
Change is
even,
hard.
yeah, change is hard. And I just was landing the plane, as I've said before. I was landing the plane, but she called me and she challenged me. Somebody
you didn't know.
Yeah, she challenged me and said, if you could turn things around, if you gave it everything you got, could you turn things around? That's what she asked me. If you gave everything you got. And that just got me. And even when I go back to it, I still get chills to this day, right? Because it was an important moment. It's the right word at the right time. And sometimes that comes from a source that you just don't expect.
Yep.
But she said it, and something snapped in me at that moment, and I made a personal commitment that hey, it was just a wake-up call. So here I am, 38 years old, and something that I say often is, in chess, once you take your hand off the piece, right, you move the chess piece, you take your hand off, it's got to stay right there. So there's nothing I can do about where the chessboard sits today, but I can play my best game based on where all the pieces were at that point. And so that's an important thing. Sometimes we get so far down the road and we think, my goodness, look, I've lost my queen, my king's in trouble. And you think, what am I going to do? But there's always a strategy. And I think what I want to do is go ahead and play this, because I do have one of these.
Quote of the day. Quote of the day.
Saved by the quote of the day. This is like base. Remember when you were a kid and you were playing freeze tag and you run to base?
I'm on base.
We're on base. We just hit quote of the day. We got a little time to think. But if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always got. If nothing changes, nothing changes.
100%.
I think about, so if you're trying, you remember the little puzzles that we had, you start here when we were in grade school, Freddie. We start here, you're trying to get here, and you got all these paths. And even a little kid, they'll say, oh, this path does not work. It's blocked. I can't get here, starting from here, going this way. But what do? We keep going that same doggone way with our behaviors. It's like there's a wall there. It doesn't work. Oh, but the first part is open and free, and it looks like it might get me there, right?
Oh, roadblock.
No, there's a line there, and you can't cross that line. So the thing that I did is I said, what needs to change? And sometimes these are just very simple things. We all need these makeovers, these makeovers, right? Attitude adjustment, a makeover. Maybe it's physical. I want to change who I am, because what happens is that core individual, things happen, and then it gets layered. We get something happens that impacts us, maybe in a negative way, and then it just layers. And so we want to get back to that original us and decide, okay, what is it? Who is it that I can be, that I want to be? And then we start taking action, Freddie.
Have you ever noticed that negativity snowball accumulates faster than the positivity snowball?
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
All right. So you wake up 11/11 with the mindset of, all right, it's time for me to change. What was the very first change that you made that was noticeable?
Got up early. Anytime what I will say, regardless of what it is for you, maybe you already get up early, so it won't be that for you. Anything that you don't want to do, that you start doing, you start developing self-discipline, right? I don't want to take a cold shower. So years ago, before cold shower, back 10 years ago, I started getting in the cold shower. I wasn't sure why. I just knew that I didn't want to do it. And at that point, I was being very, almost not bad to myself. I started liking the empowerment. I felt weak everywhere in life, Freddie. If I can control my actions and behaviors, I had power. So I became, hey, I've got to beat my mind, right? Like I've got to be the master over my mind, because I'm not a master of anything else. And so I started taking cold showers. I started getting up early. I started journaling, and journaling is something now. Just bought a brand new journal, and I get excited about buying a journal 10 years later.
Now, anybody that sees you out and about, they will always see you with a journal and a cup of coffee. 99% of the time.
99% of the time. And if you do see me, come over and say hello. That's what I would say, because I love seeing people out and about.
Especially if you want to be on a spontaneous LinkedIn video, go introduce yourself to the average dude. Bam, live video.
Yeah. And so, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play this right here. Hey, and good morning. Before we do this, I want to say good morning to Russ Hammond. Good morning. I want to say good morning to DJ. DJ, I met in Toastmasters. Haven't seen him in a long time. But so let's do this right here. And then I want to talk about what are we going to work on? Yeah, that's great. 10 years. Now, that means I don't have anything to work on? Come on.
Get ready. It's time for the 2-minute skill.
The personal development journey, it just never ends. The more action we take, the more places that we see that we're uncomfortable. And that's a big deal. Stay aware, stay hungry for uncomfortable truths about yourself. That is where the growth is. So anytime we're scared to do something, anytime we feel uncomfortable around a person, anytime we have an uncomfortable thought, explore those things. That is the uncomfortable that we're talking about when we want to think about growth. It's not pleasant at first, but then when we have the courage to look and see it for what it is, that's when we're going to grow. When we have courage. How are we going to get the courage? We're going to get the courage by being disciplined, by keeping the promises that we make to ourselves. I call it, in the Bible, they talk about the suit of armor, right? The breastplate, the helmet. This is what personal development is. It's like, hey, I've got my mindset. I've got all the protection that I need to go out, because it's scary. The world can be scary. We don't want to get judged. We don't want to feel small. We don't want to look at these uncomfortable things. That's why we've got to be really, really granular and put in a lot of effort to overcome ourselves.
I saw a video one time, and Andy Elliott, sales trainer, had a car salesman up at the front of the room, putting him through some questions. And the guy, you could tell he was nervous. His word tracks, they were not good. And Andy asked him, all right, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Where do you think you are right now? And the guy said he was a 7. And the whole room was in shock, including Andy Elliott. And he said, so you're telling me after the performance you just had, you've only got 3 more levels to improve to be the best you can be? And then the guy, he had to take a step back, and he thought, wow, I'm a 1. You have to evaluate yourself that way.
Call it
no
like
matter how good you are right now, how much more can you improve? Evaluate yourself honestly. Because I know sometimes I feel like I'm a 7, and it don't take but one slip of the tongue, one goofy situation. I'm like, man, I'm a 4. I'm a 4.
Dude, I'm so glad you said this. We've got to screw up our scale. We've got to have these scale breakers. We scale ourselves. Oh, yeah, I'm a 7. And now you need to be around a real 7 to understand, where that really lies.
Reality.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about. Reality bites, right? Reality bites. It hurts. The truth hurts. But we've got to be like a Pac-Man, right? Be a Pac-Man. You eat those truth dots. You eat those uncomfortable dots. And you can get to that other dot. You turn the tables on them monsters. You turn the tables on them monsters. That was a Pac-Man sound.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's the last sound. Any final thoughts for these folks before we go out here and just really get it?
Self-discipline is key to 10 years of personal development, which will not stop.
personal development. If you want to make a change, reach out to the average dude. I love talking about this kind of stuff. I love to see people making change. I love for us all to be growing. All boats rise. All right, let's roll, folks. Bye-bye. Happy week here.